Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here, Golden Opportunities Coaching. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you who are seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is we give advice on psychological coaching, emotional topics, and we do that in a discernible way, hopefully on a daily basis. Now that August is here, or almost daily anyway, on a variety of topics. If there's a topic you'd like to see discussed, please feel free to give a comment below, and we can usually do that within a couple of days. Today we're going to talk about something that I think we all would like to attain, which is a strong mind, and the things that cause a strong mind or a sign that you might have a strong mind. So the first is really simple, but I think it's understated, allowing creativity. So creativity is something that we all have the ability to tap into in different ways. Some people it's through music, other people it's through art and writing, other people it's through communication, other people it's through theater and other different things. For some people it's through problem solving. We all have a creative outlet, sometimes several, that we can tap into. And when we allow that to happen, when we look at problems and say, I can solve this, and we are solution-minded rather than worry-minded or fear-minded, that's a sign of a strong mind, because a truly strong mind is one that is adaptable and adjustable, and one that can respond and react based on what's in front of it rather than what's behind it or what could be in front of it in the future. Present moment mindedness and creativity go hand in hand, and therefore creativity and a strong mind also by proxy go hand in hand. The next is the release of control. So there are very few things in life that we can actually control, although the misnomer is that we can control lots of things. Many people try to control relationships and relationship outcomes. They try to control how much money they make. They try to control how people see them and the perceptions of others. But in reality, we can only control our emotional state and our actions. We cannot control things outside of ourselves. And the action to be able to, or the desire to do so, is normal and rational. But the action of trying to do so in a way that doesn't lead to burnout or manipulation, burnout being if we don't do things in a manipulative way, or manipulation if we do things in a manipulative way, is usually pretty fruitless for the majority of people. That doesn't mean it can't work in some cases. It can. But the fact remains, at the end of the day, a strong-minded person understands the need to release control, because everything is constantly changing. Circumstances, people's opinions, people's viewpoints, people's needs, the things people value, situations, circumstances of a physical nature. In other words, something might have been a missed opportunity, or something might be maybe the road is closed down so you can't go that way. So the ability to release control and look for possibilities rather than outcomes is an essential component to a strong mind. The next thing is time management. So we all have the same amount of time in our daily lives. We all have the same 86,400 seconds in a given day. We all have the same 7 days in a week, 365 days in a year. What we do with them and how we manage the time when we're awake is important. And a person who is strong-minded can compartmentalize the use of their time appropriately in such a manner that they come out ahead more often than they lag behind. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't have days where we just goof off and we're silly, or we do things that are counterproductive, or we do things just because. But a strong-minded person is a person that understands that the use of their time is something they can control, and how they use it and how they use the act of accomplishment through it is directly related to how successful they are. And so a strong-minded person is focused on using time efficiently, and also, leading into our next thing, a strong-minded person is grateful. A strong-minded person is grateful because they realize that one of the things that all of us are given in life is opportunity. Now, this is difficult because some people will say, well, what's the opportunity for a person in a third world country? Or what's the opportunity for a person with cancer? Or what's the opportunity with someone who has an unworking friendship or a non-working marriage or relationship? What are those opportunities? They're opportunities for growth and change. So what we're focused on will determine what we receive. And if we focus on what's not working, then we will receive more of what's not working. If we focus on what could work, then we open up to opportunity and possibility. And so gratefulness is tied into that, because every opportunity and every experience is a possibility come into realization. When a possibility comes into realization, it is then and only then that we can take action. And so every opportunity to take a positive or growth-based action is one that we should be grateful for, because it aligned with us to give us an opportunity of choice, which even the person in the most harsh circumstances, a person who is, under threat of being harmed or something, the person who is being assaulted or beaten or abused, they still have a choice of how they react to taking it. Now, we may not like the consequences of the choice we take. If we stand up to a bully, we might get beat up. If we, if we don't eat today, we might be hungry the rest of the day. Or we don't eat breakfast because we don't like it, we might be hungry the rest of the day. Just because we use the power of choice doesn't mean we'll like the consequences of the choice. And every choice does have some form of consequences, positive, negative, or neutral. But to be grateful for every opportunity to make a choice makes a person powerful and is a sign of a strong mind. Also, the willingness to be kind and sacrifice without expectation of anything in return other than the opportunity to serve or give is the sign of a strong mind. A person who understands that life is not about them, it's about the greatest possible good to the most people possible, without sacrificing oneself beyond repair, understands the meaning of what life is supposed to be. We are here to be social animals and social creatures, which means that giving kindness to others is valuable. Now, the problem for many people with kindness, though, is they think, oh, well, I did this for this person, therefore they have to do something for me, or I did this for this person, therefore the world owes me, the universe owes me, God owes me, whatever that sounds like. And so that comes into a negative thought. When you begin to expect something for the action of giving, you are taking away the power of the giving of the gift, whether it be your time, your energy, your money, or anything else. Because when you expect something from it, you're now changing the positive energy that's put out by giving at all into at least a neutral energy of expectation, which doesn't really bring positive results as often as we would like. So, a person who understands true kindness is kind without expectation. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't want things. It doesn't mean we don't desire things. It means if we desire things, we're grateful for them without expectation of them. And very few people, some would even say a minimal amount of people on the planet, ever truly understand this concept, because it is built into our nature to expect things. It's built into, well, I did this for you, therefore I should expect. And people who are of the mindset that expectation is completely rational and normal and that everyone should have them, we often say, well, I can expect that gravity is there, but gravity is not an emotional thing. It's a scientific force, as are other scientific forces. And so we can't apply laws that include emotion to laws that are there just because they are. They're there because of scientific reason. And that's what most people try to do. And they equate kindness with a guarantee, and it's not a guarantee. And when we expect it to be a guarantee, more often than not, we will be disappointed. The next sign of a strong mind is having new ideas or coming up with new ideas. A solution-minded person is always going to focus on how things can change for the better. They're going to focus on evolution rather than comfort. And so that means that even in a situation where things are going well, there's always something to be improved in that situation. I know in my work as a coach and with the other businesses I run, I'm always looking for ways to improve, even if I'm happy with how I'm serving my clients, even if I'm happy with the number of clients that I have. There's an expansion mindset to everything I do. And so expansion mindset and always looking for new ideas is a sign of a strong mind, because if you're always looking for improvement and expansion, it means that when times are lean, you have backup plans. And that's something that a lot of people miss. If you are just willing to get by with what you have, and an unexpected thing, something like COVID, or something like, a stock market crash, and you were expecting your career, your investments to carry you through the rest of your life, or your partner comes home and says, I just don't love you anymore. If you're not looking at new ideas and used to looking for new ways to view things, and you are caught with something that is unexpected, it takes you longer to recover. So if you're always looking for new ideas, if you're always looking at things of what could be rather than what is, now there's nothing wrong with staying in the moment and being with what is, But when you have an expansion mindset naturally, it's a sign of a strong mind because you're less likely to be negatively affected long term by unforeseen circumstances. Um, and there's four more things I want to touch on here. The next is learning from your mistakes. We all make them. We all fall out of alignment with the best choices we could possibly make because there are things we don't see. Sometimes we get tunnel vision. Sometimes we have expectations that aren't met. Sometimes we go in directions that aren't healthy, or whatever the case may be. In any event, learning from mistakes is a sign of a strong mind because we're always growing and there's always new information to be had. There's always new perspectives to be explored. And when we do something wrong, it shouldn't be, oh, poor me, this will never recover, or people will see me negatively. It's what can I learn from this experience in order to do better next time. When you have an expansion mindset in your relationship to mistakes and missteps, it's easier to recover from unfortunate circumstances because you have the reality of understanding that there's always a way to come out ahead. There's always a way to handle things in a positive way. And so the next thing is a person with a strong mind is good with money, or they're good with what they're given would be an even better way to say it, whether it's money or time or someone makes you food and you plan ahead and you turn it into 3 meals instead of one because you ration your food. You are good with what you're given. And so a person who is kind of weak-minded is going to be an impulse buyer. They're going to be a person who is like, I just want gratification now, and it doesn't matter if I could use this later for something else. They're going to be a person that's more likely to spend than save. They're going to be a person that's going to look at how they feel right now versus how they're going to feel tomorrow. They're going to be a person who follows their impulses just to change their emotional state. And they're not going to be good with money, or they're not going to save for later, or they're not going to be a person who is thinking about the long-range game. And there's times when staying in the moment and not planning is advisable. If you're out to dinner with your friends, completely embrace that and don't think about necessarily what tomorrow is unless you have a reason to be really focused on it. But at the same time, to be strong-minded is to think, how is what I'm doing right now going to affect tomorrow, next week, next month, next year? How are my actions interlinking to give me the best possible shot at a successful life? The next one is, and this is where people have blind spots, avoiding codependency like the plague. So there's three types of relationships in life. An independent person, a person that believes that they are self-sufficient. Now, independence is great because there are times when we have to rely only on ourselves and we can't rely on other people because they have motives and they have challenges and they have things that they need to attend to, and they can't be our babysitters. They can't always give us what we need, and so being independent becomes necessary for a variety of reasons. Then there's codependency, the belief that I can only be happy if this person is with me, the belief that I've married this person and therefore I have to stay, the belief that my boss might be a jerk, but he pays me really well, and this job is the only option I have. It's codependency. And often codependency leads to ignoring emotions, and it leads to unhealthy situations, and it leads in all sorts of directions that are non-beneficial for most people involved. And then there's where we should be, which is interdependency. Yes, I need other people. Yes, I need help in situations. Yes, if I need to, I can switch to being independent and handle this on my own. Although, I'd rather have help in community because help and community is part of the reason why I was created as a human being. And so interdependency is what we should strive to. The understanding that we do need people in community and benefit of relationships, but we can walk away from that if need be. If it starts to become codependent, we can make a choice actively in any situation to say, you know what, this is no longer healthy, it's no longer balanced, it's no longer what I want or need in my life, and so I'm going to walk away regardless of how I feel about, how you're going to see me or how you're going to react, or the fact I might be single, or the fact I might be jobless, or the fact I might be homeless. I will say this, I've been homeless multiple times in my life, and they were all times that helped me grow, and I wouldn't change them for the world. Now, would I change the fact that I've been homeless multiple times? Probably. Although, each of the times that I have been taught me a valuable lesson, so maybe not. Unless I could have fit all the lessons into one experience, I probably wouldn't have changed away from being homeless 3 times versus one, unless I was going to get the same lessons in life from that one experience. The last one is a person keeps going and they're persistent through challenges, trauma, and hardship. Now, a strong minded person understands and they realize and they recognize that hardship will come and that they need to react and respond to hardship accordingly. But they don't lose sight of their goals. They may have a day where they take a day off. They may have a day where they reflect and they're pensive or they're scared or whatever. But at the end of the day, they are a person who is focused on keeping going through hardship. These are people who are less likely to accept somebody else giving them something unless it's from a genuine place. So they're not going to accept a handout just to get by. They're going to say, you know what, no, but I've got to find a way to survive and later thrive. They're not people that are going to expect, whether it's a friend, a family member, the government programs, they're not going to expect somebody else to bail them out. Instead, a strong-minded person is going to keep going, going to keep believing that change is possible. They may accept help for the short term, but always with the idea that they're going to pay it back or pay it forward, be it financially or otherwise. But they're going to continue to persist towards the vision of their goal, making alterations, maybe to timetables or how they approach getting there. But they don't lose sight of their goals. They don't lose sight of their dreams. And it's because of that strong-mindedness that sometimes people realize dreams years or even decades later because they never lost sight of the overall goal. And so anyway, that is our audio for this moment. And I encourage you, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.